Right, so I know that there's year 7 settling in interviews and things like that, so we're not able to meet to go through the wellbeing day that's coming up. So I'm going to just talk you through this very briefly by video. If you've got any questions, just pop us an email or come and find me, and I'm happy to talk you through it in more detail. Hopefully it's going to be pretty straightforward for you. I'll talk you through the structure of the day, then I'll show you where everything is and how everything works. So the idea is trying to help students learn about online safety and how to act appropriately online. There's going to be 2 parts to the day. The first part is them learning about e-safety and getting messages and information, things like that. And then the second part is them coming up with some sort of electronic product that can be used with year 5 students. There's going to be winners picked, and I'm going to be sending them to primary schools so that they can pass those resources out to year 5, so that the impact of the day goes beyond the school and it gives our kids a real audience. So periods 1 to 3 are the learning. 4 and 5 is the chance to actually make the product and choose it and judge it. Hopefully there's a lot of content, there's a lot of stuff for kids to do, so they're not going to be sitting bored, and they're not going to be drifting or anything like that. They will need Chromebooks, it's all electronic, or the computers that are in the classroom, where you've got the 4 computers for any kids who don't have a Chromebook. I don't have a problem with you pairing a kid up, so if somebody has forgotten and there aren't enough, by all means pair them up to do it. Just use your judgment on that. But obviously they need to be doing some work. They can't just sit and let their partner do it all. And ideally, we want them doing it individually if we can. So looking at period 1, what they're going to do, and I'll show you where they put the work in a second. They're going to start off with an introduction video from me. So it's just 5 minutes of me talking them through the day, the point of it, why it's important, and what it is that they've been asked to do. So hopefully that sets the scene for them. They're then going to sign up to an online workbook, which is where they're going to do all of the work for periods 1 to 3. So this is on Google Classroom. So if you look here, I've set up a Google Classroom page here. Students just go to Google Classroom. There's a link on the Chromebooks and there's a link on Frog. They click on the little plus sign and they sign up to the class, I forget the right one, with this code here. So if they type that code in, it'll take them to that class. Once they're in the class, they'll see the workbook, the online workbook that I've set for them. So I'll show you what that looks like now. So if they go in here, that's where they'd click online workbook. And this is their online workbook. So they'll start off putting their name, their home group in, and then all of the work that they're going to do after the overview is just basically typing in the boxes in the space provided. So I've tried to just keep this as simple as possible. So questions, they type their answers underneath, and that's all they need to do really, okay, for those first 3 lessons, other than the other bits that are in the slides. So that's where their work goes. In this first lesson, they're going to start off with a discussion about how they personally use the internet, what devices they use, and then, like I said, they'll fill in that task 1 in the workbook. Then they're going to watch this video, Where's Close, or Close, I can't remember how you pronounce it, but never mind. There's some themes that you might want to discuss as a class afterwards. Be flexible, if they want to talk about something else that comes up in the video, or if you've got any of your own points to make, or you want to ignore any of the questions I've put, that is fine. They're just there for a guide, just to kind of guide the discussion. And then once they've had the discussion there, again, there's a task in the workbook that they can then go and have a look at. I've tried where possible to put a bonus question that's a bit more difficult, a bit longer, a bit more challenging. That's for students who want to push on, stretch themselves, or finish all of this stuff at the top and need some sort of extension work. So everybody should be doing the first boxes, but that bonus question is optional. It's there for those who need it. So they're looking at content in this one, and they're the 3 things I should have mentioned at the start. Really, the 3 areas they're looking at are content, contact, and conduct. So they're the 3 main online safety themes that I want them to get out of today. So lesson 1 is all about the content that they find online. So it talks about material they can access online, talks about pictures and the fact that those pictures can be fake. So you can see that's what that rock actually looks like. There's all sorts of discussions you're going to be able to have with the kids over these resources. Stories, so we've got two different newspapers reporting on the same story with very different headlines. What does that tell them about bias? And then you can move on to, is the internet bias? We've got fake news. Unfortunately, the chocolate Whopper is fake news. Wasn't real, but they can watch the video, get them to discuss it, and then tell them that it was fake. And obviously then discuss what that might mean about some of the stories that are available online. So I think the slides there will make sense, and it's signposts where the kids have to do tasks. Period 2 is all about contact, so it's a very similar sort of format. Some discussion, a video with some questions you can use to prompt more discussion about that, bits to fill in the workbook, and then again more videos. And some of these videos are quite hard hitting, so it's I think the kids will probably enjoy them. They'll have a lot to say about them. And at the end of period 2, if you're brave enough, there is a role play where they can role play some of the dangers people might face online and how they can be tackled. I thought that the kids were maybe doing a little bit too much of, samey, watch videos, have a discussion, write in the workbook. So this is a chance for them to get up and about and do something different. When they get to period 3, and it's all about conduct, this one here, which the slides aren't actually finished yet, but they will be very, very soon, is all about how people conduct themselves. So it's things like cyberbullying, things like respecting copyright of other people's material, not breaking any laws, acceptable use policy, all of that sort of thing. So those slides will be finished before you get them, and it'll be a very similar sort of format to what you've seen already. What they're then going to do in the afternoon is, if I just scroll down in the journal, sorry, not the journal, the workbook. So period 4 and 5, there'll be a survey to fill in at the start. That's just to help me understand what they've taken in from the morning and help them reflect on it and remember some of it. And after they've done that very short survey, which will probably take them about 5 minutes, maybe 10 at a push at the most, they're then coming at their challenge. So the challenge is to create a presentation for year 5 students. They can just use Google Slides for that. They can work in a pair to do this, but both people in the pair must share the work. So they must decide in advance who's going to do what. That presentation should basically teach year 5 students about the 3 C's, the stuff they've been learning about in the morning, and how to stay safe online. They're going to put a link to the presentation in here. And then there's some success criteria underneath that they can use to tick off whether or not they've covered these things. Now, as I've said in the video to students, and as I will put on the slides for this part of the day, I'm not looking for a really lengthy presentation which has got loads of text on. This has got to be something that year 5 would understand, that year 5 would be interested in. So they don't need to write about absolutely everything that they've been taught about in the morning. They're just picking some key themes around those 3 C's, and they're going to present those to year 5 in a way which helps them to learn how to be safe online. As a class, leave some time towards the end of period 5 to choose what you think is your home group's best presentation from across the different pairs in your class. How you do that's up to you. You might want to look at all of them. You might want to get them to pair up with another pair group and judge each other's, and then sort of whittle them down that way. I don't mind how you choose it, but just choose what you think is the best one. Pass it on to me. Ideally, it'll cover all of the success criteria. Use that as a basis for your choice. And then I'll have a look at them from each home group. I'll decide which one is the winner overall. The winning group will get some vouchers, and I'll also pass on all of the winners, assuming that I think they're high enough quality to our primary schools so that they can be used with year 5, just like we're telling students that they will be. I think that's all right. I don't think there's anything else that you need other than me to quickly finish that final presentation and get these all linked up to the Wellbeing website. They will be there as soon as possible. But obviously the journal's already there and you've got a good idea about what you're doing, I think. So hopefully that's you sorted. Please let me know if you need anything.